Damn. Must be nice.
No flame?
No flame.
It's too cold, too cold.
Alright guys, so this is the second video where we're gonna get more in depth kind of what he's done since the last time we hanged out. I'll make sure to link the previous video.
I think that's when we had the carbon put on first, right?
Yeah, you had the carbon package, and then we did make another video where we spoke specifically about
what the car had,
the Skunk 2 manifold.
Yeah, Skunk 2.
So that's a whole nother video.
It was like the next day that I put it on.
He got it and then he slapped it on real quick. I know. You know what? I'll probably just make a Lewis playlist, like Lewis's music, and then check out that full playlist. I probably have like 9-10 videos with him already. So and even track days and stuff like that.
Just even tagging the cameo ones where I'm just like kind of like.
Yeah. All right, guys. So hope you guys enjoy this video. So let's get in depth with Lewis's car now. Before we start talking about the details, we'll give you guys some good content out here driving it and stuff. I'm excited. I think he said he's around 450 horsepower or so.
How do you get in this?
What? I don't know how Lewis gets in these seats, man. I thought the S2K was bad, but this, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, but I can't do this on a daily.
You gotta remember too, when we take this car out, like I'm like full suit, helmet.
Yeah,
like,
you are super fitted. Like I'm perfectly fitted. If I was on the track, this is great. But on the daily, you know, it's like, it's kind of tough.
Had a little issue before we started the video, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
Got it all taken care of.
I can't get over that transmission, dude. Sounds so good.
It just feels like you feel like it's gonna last.
Yeah. So that spooling noise, that isn't the turbo, that's actually the transmission.
The little whine. Oh yeah, I mean I had to let off because like we keep spinning.
Yeah.
But
although this is turbo weather, tires ain't gripping. You're spinning a lot more than I am, that's for sure. Damn. About how much torque?
390.
390 torque?
390 or 380 something. I'm gonna check that.
Okay. More than enough power for the track.
I think you need to add some 91 to it though. We're a little bit high on the ethanol content.
All right, give me like 5 minutes. I'm like cramping hella hard.
Okay, can you hear me now? Test.
Alright guys, so we're here with Lewis, so we just got right along with a quick summary. Tell me what's been done to your car.
So as of right now, we have a built block, we have PPG, we have PRL Big Turbo Kit, we have the Skunk 2 intake manifold, and as of recently, now we have our port injection kit on it. Our block is made by Ososick. We have rods, pistons, and custom head studs. Basically, that's one of the three main failing points for this type of engine. It's a little 1.5 liter, like. Yeah,
the head's right, because back in, well, it still happens, right? But the head is what.
Yeah, but the only way to get like because these studs are rated for like pretty much high horsepower. But the only way to really get it is you have to do the Ososick package, which is basically his whole setup with the use for drag racing, stuff like that. So that's what we went with. And yeah, I actually have 001 as my serial number on my engine.
So he has the first
production one, because obviously
first production. He has the
original,
prototype,
like,
the originals.
I believe his is like 000, something like that.
Probably like negative 001 or something. But so Lewis, he has the first production unit.
Yeah. I mean, I buy them for customers of ours, and then we probably have like about I don't know, probably like have like 15 of them out there somewhere alone. There's probably 3 of them outside in the back lot that we're working on.
In those cars, the one.
Yeah, the ones that are built outside. Yeah, those we have a couple of cars in there. But PPG, everyone always asks me, is it worth it? Like 100% it's worth it. Like, and obviously you saw in the car, like how much more the car feels more like beatable. You know, you can actually just like beat on the car.
It's just more raw. It seems like it wants more like it takes the beating. It likes it.
And then like obviously everyone likes the gear whine. It just gives it a very different like nostalgia driving.
Yeah.
And the only real reason we went PPG is because we would probably break the transmission. Like in 1 year of tracking, we would probably break it around 4 times during the year. Yeah. So it adds up. If you really think about it. Even for like a shop like us, how we have to think about time and expenses for like the gearing and stuff like that. And we would break 3-4 shafts and like
the stock components, right?
Yeah, bearings, like all this stuff that would be like, why are we replacing all this when we can just go PPG and then.
And how long have you had the?
Well, I have.
How long have you had this train?
I got it like when they announced the PPG. I was in the first batch for sure. And then so that must have been sometime, like a year ago already or more. So it has to been like 2 years already, honestly.
So let's say a year and a half.
Just to be like safe.
You've gone to at least 10 time attacks since then.
More probably like 25 events.
So year and a half, beating to that. Let's say 20. Just
like a nice.
Yeah, let's say 20 time attack events, beat into that year and a half, and you could say, oh, mine has 50,000 street miles, but most people don't understand when you take it to the track.
Yeah.
You're beating it like a lot more than just 50,000 on the street. So
that's probably like
that's
triple of the damage happening all at once. And the other main reason too is when we started the stock transmission, the stock motor. Like we would probably lift the head gasket like I would want to tell you like every 3 events. It would just
expand.
Yeah, just because of the amount of boost we were running. It was
because
I've had
3
stock blocks.
3 stock blocks,
and then we're going on our 3rd build block.
Okay.
But that's part of racing. Sometimes you have to understand like you're revving the engine like so high, and then out of nowhere you do your 15-20 minute laps, and then you let the car just flash cool down, and then you turn the car back on and you go out again. So like there's not enough time to heat cycle the component, so stuff expands and despands, and then as our first built motor actually, we just lost a bearing. I mean, that's just happened. I was actually on Angel's Crest for a cruise with one of our friends, and we went up, everything was fine. We went down, and then we started hitting like a little tick. I mean, and we were like, okay, we probably lost a valve or something in the rod just kind of just gave out.
You still
like
drove it home?
Yeah, like I got it home. I got it to the shop, and then the rod, we took it apart, and like the bearing basically had just like melted, and then that's where we're getting like the little clap on it.
Yeah, the little tick. But
I mean, even that motor we had really abused it too. That one we had ran for about like 8 months before, and that year had been like a really big, like we were actually doing like events like competing, and that one motor got us like consistent 2nd place in like 3 events, but we kept losing the S2000s just because you're not gonna beat the chassis. It's just so fast. Yeah, like we were doing like sub like on Big Willow at the time we were running like 127 like 9 or something like that, or 128 something, and then the S2Ks were running like 124. So it's like there was no way to beat the chassis. Like it was just a lot lighter, and then some of these guys were like all motor or they were like supercharged, especially for the track.
So you're saying you're gonna buy my car, or?
Nah, I'm good. All right, we have to stick with this. But
then so with this one, so Ososick, shout out to him. How long have you been pushing this motor?
I've had it since they released. Technically, they have. I've had it since January of last year.
So this motor.
This one's already ready for.
So this motor, you could say this and both your PPG transmission and this motor.
Actually, no. I had the PPG before the motor.
Okay.
So it had to be at least 2 years ago then.
Okay. So the PPG lasted 2 years. No. Oh, it's been 2 years. No problem.
Since we had it, yeah, no problem. The only thing I had to replace, I had dropped the trans, and it was my mistake on the track. I messed up the synchro. But that's just because like you're driving like aggressively and like sometimes you can't guesstimate everything.
Shift or whatever.
And then the synchro was just kind of like weird. It wasn't like I could have kept driving it, but I didn't want to mess up the gearbox up. So I just took it down and replaced the synchro and then put it back in and
just preventative maintenance.
Yeah, but besides that, like the gears have never had an issue. It still has stock 5th and 6th, so that's really good. But yeah, the block itself has been perfectly fine. I've never had an issue with it. The only problem is that we're probably gonna have to take it out to just do like general maintenance, and if not, we'll just get another block just because we want to have everything fresh. And we just have the same package. We'll do the Ososick block, and then we do offer it here, and then you can also go get it at the eShop with Nick. So whichever way you want, I would probably say this has been our best setup, and definitely no head gasket issues because that was one of our biggest problems, is that we would spend so much time replacing the head gasket, like removing the engine, taking the gasket off.
Just a lot of downtime, and
exactly.
You're still trying to run a business, but also, you want to be out the track, obviously have fun.
Yeah, all the time.
So that, like, how long does it to do a head gasket job?
Like on this car, because we have so much stuff modified to the car, and we delete. Like I personally, me and Morris, we will definitely like delete stuff that we don't need, like.
But your car specifically.
Yeah, my car specifically, because obviously like the whole car is carbon fiber in the front end. So the bumper honestly is like held on just by the splitter, and then these top, and I can remove the whole bumper off. Like if I had to do it on track.
Yeah.
The turbo kit itself, we can remove the entire thing like in 15 minutes if we needed to. And we've done it on track because there's stuff that you can be as 100% as possible, and even as a shop, we're like, hey, we got everything down. We double checked everything before we left. And you get to the track and you break like a oil return line, or
just stuff happens.
Stuff just happens, like the wastegate bracket can snap, or some random stuff like that, like you just don't foresee. And when you're driving it normal condition, it's fine. But when you're getting up to 7,500 RPM and you're on that thing for 15-20 minutes straight, and then you're doing that all day, stuff's gonna break. If no matter how built your car is, like it's gonna happen. Like even with dragsters or tracking, like right now. We have new suspension over there, but I just haven't had the time to replace it because this side is just blown. We blew it on the track.
This shop.
That's kind of the other reason too. I haven't tracked it. And it's not.
You mean track it as in like 2 months, 1 month?
No, it's been like 4 months. I haven't gone since October. It's March right now, right?
So I guess right now it's March. But I was gonna ask you. So you've driven this car in the summertime at the track?
Oh yeah, like in the heat.
Yeah. Oh,
so we were last summer.
And that's another thing. So 10 gens, it's mostly a Type R.
It's mostly Type Rs, but this one does have upgraded cooling. It has like obviously bigger intercooler. It has a core rad. It has so consistently we run like 180. Like all the way through, like pretty much all year long. During the summer, we did increase about 15 degrees, but we were running at about 110 was the max, like the hottest days that we've gone. And it was like 110 in the desert.
That's good, because I'll take my Type R and I'm at like 220. My normal day, like 60, 70 degrees Type R, and I'm stock cooling system, so I'm like 205, 220. After 220, it's not even worth it. But
usually during the summer, what we would do, like right now it's on regular cooling. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it has regular cooling right now. But usually in the summer, what I would do is for this car, we would put something called water wetter. It's like you add distilled water, and then
that's actually my S2K. So my S2K, I just have distilled water. I don't use coolant.
Yeah. So then what you could do is if you go to like VP Racing, they have like this little bottle like this big. You add it to the distilled water and you cool it, and it actually would keep because distilled water is water at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So when it goes into, it can always evaporate or stuff like that, right? So that's why you always have to top it off because it's it's water. It's water.
Your motion, whatever.
Yeah. So usually compared to coolant, it's like a different. Whatever it's made out of, it's different, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't like evaporate as easily, unless it's the turbo or something like boiling hot. It would evaporate. But usually distilled water, we would have the only issue is that we would have to top it off, just because like we would see it lower and stuff like that. We'd be like, okay, that's kind of weird, but it's just because it's water.
So do you prefer distilled water or coolant?
When it's hot, really hot, we use distilled water with water wetter, which it just increases the overall temperature by like significant amount.
Just
so it'll be
reduces the boiling temp
the whole thing, and then so that helps a lot. And then if you ever have a leak on track, it'll actually evaporate off of the ground compared. So you still use like about the 2 gallons of distilled water, and then you just add that to top it off.
Okay.
But usually that's the only thing we would change in the summer. But like in the winter, we track, but we'll use regular OEM coolant. It's perfectly fine. But if you want to be like the best performance and stuff like that, try to keep everything as cool as possible. But then we get back to the part where you're revving the engine so high, and then you're letting it cool really fast, and then you turn it back on, and it gets hot again, and then you gotta think all that metal is like expanding, expanding, and it's not having the time to properly set. So like if it's only set like halfway of its cooling cycle,
and then you heat it
back up, it's gonna go even more, right?
And every time that this is kind of more materials, but every time you heat up metal, it gets weaker.
Yeah, over time. So you gotta remember too, like even though you have the craziest built motor, it doesn't matter who you have it by. The crank is stock, the bearings are stock, all of the aluminum around it, holding it, everything's stock. This isn't a billet block, this isn't a billet crank, like everything is stock.
Yeah, and all those components, the stock components,
are made for. With
time, they just due to heat cycle, they just start
wearing apart. Yeah, so it's just one of those weird scenarios where it kind of. Some people don't understand that either. Like, you have customers be like, okay, so like when I have a built block, it'll be good, right? Like we're not gonna have any issue. They're like, no, like you can still break something. Like everything.
It's not gold.
Like literally, like 95% of the rest of the motor is stock. Like stock cam, stock valve train. You know, like you can do the springs, but like if you have stock valves, stock, you know, like everything else is stock. You know, like you can't change any of that. You know? There's not enough support for it. You know, it's not like it's like a case series. You could add cams and rocker arms and you know all this like other stuff that you can do to the motor. It's a 1.5 and the market isn't there yet, which we understand.
Maybe in 10 years.
If we're doing L15 swaps into EKs, EGs, stuff like that, so this might be the next swap, you know?
Yeah. I saw VTech Academy from Arizona.
They're already doing.
They're doing it. I don't know.
They already did it in the Fit.
Oh yeah.
They already put one in the Fit, and I think now they're doing it into like a EG.
I think an EG or EK. I saw it was like 2 in the morning. I was watching it. The VCD. You guys do everything here at the shop, but your main focus is
tangent. Yeah, I mean we will work on the occasional like 350 or Subaru and stuff like that. We get a lot of clutch inquiries, which is it's fine now. We have a direct connection with Action Clutch, so this does run a twin disc from Action, and every year we get a new twin disc and we get a new twin disc in just to have like a fresh clutch in it. And I kept breaking clutches, not because of like someone's gonna be it's because like it's not built right or it's not. No, it's because I was beating the shit out of it all day. You know, like. It's like anything, like if you just bash on it.
And it goes back to what we were saying about the engine. Yeah, you could drive your car 50,000 miles.
Normally,
but when you're on the track, you beat it up much more. So just like the motor is beat up much more on the track, the clutch also gets beat up just as much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the brand that we use. I mean, like I said, there's plenty of other brands that people have their own opinion about. There's custom kits, there's like ACT or Clutch Masters or X Clutch or whatever all these other brands.
It's just you specifically.
Yeah, because
you like Action Clutch.
I've tested all of them. I've tested everything from 1 through 5 through Ironman through Twin Disc, and I'm at Twin Disc and I like it. And I have a lot of customers that just dated their cars, and the stage 1 is nice. Like I have a stage 1 on my EP3, and it's like
nice.
It's like the perfect little clutch. Like
I had a stage 2 on an EK I had for a minute. I hated it because the engagement was so.
Yeah.
It's like you're either perfect or you're shit. So.
Getting back to what this is. Yeah. This is a lot more like how do you want to say? It's kind of more like a good starting point for someone who is
new.
I mean, I'm not even new because a lot of people have had like older generation cars that have crazy horsepower.
But again, when I first met him, he was 18. I know I preach this all the time. He was 18 when I first met him. But a lot of these kids, they're getting to new cars. Like we grew up with. I grew up with EKs. I know a lot of followers. You guys are 35, 40 years old. They grew up with EFs, EGs.
Like all my older brothers and sisters, like they had like older. Like my dad had a Del Sol, like a SI.
Yeah.
And
but see,
I thought that shit was pretty sick. Like
but see, that's I guess now that we're 20, late 20, maybe 30. That's our mentality. But all these 15-year-olds right now, they're
getting into new cars. Yeah, this is like this is crazy.
It's like to me, 8-gen at the time. 8-gen was like
that was the shit.
The hottest thing.
I always wanted 8-gen, and like they were just crazy expensive.
So it's like right now, all these 12, 15-year-olds. If you guys are watching this, this is probably the car that you guys want. He's not the first to do some of this stuff, but he is with new innovations, trying new stuff, doing different products, and he's making stuff happen. So if you guys are interested in the kit, make sure to hit him up either through Instagram, through his website directly, or if you have any questions, there's way to contact him in the description. So, is there anything else you want to say for this video?
Yeah, I mean, besides that, just if you guys do want to have any questions or information, just like obviously contact us. The kit will be available, and then everything is just more focused on for someone to do it at their house.
Yeah, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and check out Lewis and his Tension SIs.